What's up, guys? CryptoSavy here. Hope everyone's having a wonderful day. We are going to be taking a look at Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum and see if we have further down to go, or will we get a bounce up here to test old support as new resistance. We're going to take a look at that. Definitely stick around. Don't forget, we have a free Discord group in the description below the video. Definitely check it out. Awesome community, guys, if you want somewhere to hang out and talk about crypto. All right, guys, as always, this is not financial advice, trading advice, or investment advice. There is a disclaimer scrolling on the bottom. Make sure you read it. And always remember, this is my opinion, not yours. So let's take a look at Bitcoin news headlines, just to get a feel for the sentiment. U.S. holding firm halted mining business after Bitcoin drop. Bitcoin price drops to 6.1 shortly after equities markets plummet. Bitcoin will moon if the U.S. creates a digital dollar. Not convinced new investors are buying Bitcoin, top analyst says. Bitcoin price decline prompts U.S. mining firm to shut down. Bitcoin was headed for a big upsurge. Traders explain what happened. Investors regain confidence in Bitcoin amid price action. Satoshi Nakamoto price stabilizes around 6,700. More bearish than bullish, obviously, in the news, which usually means we could have a pump up, but if you're judging by sentiment, let's look at the fear and greed index. We're at 8, extreme fear. We have dropped 4 points from yesterday, obviously because of the drop last night. And let's take a look at the charts. We're going to look at the monthly. The monthly's still looking pretty ugly. This is a nice wick on here, but we'll have to see how the monthly closes. That closes at the beginning of next week, so not too much to talk about in the monthly. Let's look at the weekly. If we look at the weekly, the EMAs are looking very bearish, in my opinion. We've talked about this yesterday. If we close down in this range or lower, well, actually, if we don't have a big push up, our 21 EMA is going to cross the 55 here, which is extremely bearish, in my opinion. We do have the 200 EMA on the weekly at about 5,400, 5,300 is the range that we're looking at there. Also, I wanted to point out this bottom trend line. There is a possibility, and a measured move, we'll look at it in a minute, as a possibility to go into around the 2570 range. Obviously, it's nothing's guaranteed, but we'll take a look at the possibilities. Let's look at the RSI. We've been watching this red support and resistance line on the weekly RSI. If you guys aren't familiar, back in 2014, we capitulated below it, broke back above it, tested it for support, got support, and continued on with our bull run of 2017. 2018, we capitulated below it, popped back above it, tested it for support, got support, and then came back down, and now we are actually riding this line. If we close below this line this week, it could be pretty bad news for Bitcoin. If we're able to get a run up and close above this, I think we're in much better shape, but still not the greatest shape, and let me show you why. So we've been watching this rising wedge here, and we talked about it yesterday. If we broke the 64, we'd break out of the bottom of the wedge, which we have done. It's not to say we can't come back up and retest this around, well, we'll take a look at the 4 hour, but our measured move, guys, of the break of that, the first one being just measure the widest point of the wedge to where we broke support, and it gets us around the $4,200 range, which also lines up with this long-term trend line that you can see all the way from these wicks over here. So that has confluence there, but before that, we're going to have some support here at around the 5,400. That is the 0.236 Fibonacci retracement of this move here, but coming down, I believe we will most likely get some support there. I'm going to throw the fibs on here real quick, just on this little move from the swing low to the swing high. And that would line up with the 0.5 Fibonacci also. If we look at this, 0.618 is down here around the $5,000 range. Of course, we'll most likely get a bounce there because of psychological area and the golden pocket zone. Could that be the bottom of this move and then up from there? Definitely a possibility, but I still believe we're coming down to around the 4,205 at least. And again, this is my opinion. I could be dead wrong. But the other possibility is looking at this as a flagpole, this being a bear flag from where we broke down. That also lines up with that 2570 range, which if you remember, we looked at that on the weekly and it lined up with that bottom trend line. So keep in mind that it is definitely possible, guys. I know every little move now people get super bearish, but as we talked about yesterday, the volume is declining here, so we really haven't had a real break. Today might be the break, and could it fool us and continue up and go up and touch that $7,700 range? It is a possibility. I don't believe so. I think we'll get rejected at the bottom of this support. Old support will become new resistance. And if you've been watching, we talked about this on the RSI. As you can see, we were in this falling wedge we broke out of, and I'd said this could form, and it looks to be forming what could be an inverse head and shoulders on the RSI. That would make sense on our move down here. Possibly we could possibly get a nice bounce off that 54, but if that breaks, that's why this is red here. If that breaks, then we're definitely, in my opinion, looking for the 42 at least, and it could get ugly. But that's what I'm looking at there. Like I said, if we can manage to get above this 64 to 6600, and that 25 or 21 EMA is going to be around the 6600. If we can manage to get above that, then we can look at these, the 7200 to the $7,700 range, which would line up with the 55 EMA. But honestly, guys, I don't think that's going to happen, but that's just my opinion. So look at the 4 hour. Same thing in the 4 hour. We had this rising wedge here. Same measured moves. Bear flag or a flagpole, this being a bear flag from the break. And same thing if we measured just the wedge. That measured move of the break there is around the 4200. So, but remember, this 5400 is going to be key. It also lines up with this long-term trend line that I have all the way across here, which is just a clone line of the bottom support line here. And I had put one on each one of these wicks up top too. Those are real significant if we get back up to those. And a run up here would be around the 7200. But like I said, I'm more bearish than bullish here. And let's take a look at where we may retrace to. If you look at the RSI also, we had been talking about this rising channel. And once this broke, if you watched the video yesterday, I said it was going to be bearish. And that is exactly what happened. But like I said, we could get a move up and retest this top trend line here, which was a falling broadening wedge that we kind of been playing on the support and resistance line up top. Let's see how high we could go before rejection. Now it's possible, if you can see the EMAs here, guys, my 8 has crossed my 55 in the 4 hour. Next would be the 13 and then the 21. If these all cross, that's going to be pretty damn bearish. I would look for at least that 54 like we've been talking about. We could come back up and retest the 64 to $6,500, $64 to $6,500 range to retest the bottom of this wedge that we broke down out of. This old support should become new resistance. So if we get a move up here, I'd be looking for the 64 to 6,500. If we break above that, then we can start looking at these higher targets here, which 72 would line up with the 200 EMA. But guys, that's only if we can break 64 to 65. I expect a rejection if we even get that high before we come down here. We could do a little measured move off of this move down, measuring that as a little flagpole, and making a bear flag here. If we were to break, that would get us down to around the 5,600 range, which also lines up with these old support wicks down here. But again, guys, if we go down that far, I believe we're at least the 54. And if that 54 cannot hold, 42 is my next. My next target. That doesn't mean it can come in a day. You're not going to see that in a day, most likely. So don't think I'm saying that we're going to see one red candle down. That's not what I'm saying. Also, guys, if you guys are interested in trading, I'll leave a Dudex tutorial up top. Definitely check it out. It has a feature on there called risk management that'll help you manage your risk. Definitely check it out. if you're new, it's a great help to kind of understand how to put your orders in, what your risks are. Also, there's some other trading exchanges links down below. Check those out. That's a good way to help support the channel. And if you're I just want to put out there, if you are not an experienced trader, don't put in more money than you're willing to lose, and it is best to try on a test net first. But I do have exchange links down there that give you bonuses for signing up and make a deposit. Check it out. All of them have different features, some of them better than other in areas. I use all of the ones I have listed below. So anyways, but always remember to don't keep more than you're trading on the exchanges, just in case. We never know, some of these exchanges could go down. We don't want to lose our Bitcoin. So looking at LITECOIN, same thing, this rising wedge. We did break our support. The measured move off of that, if we measure just the wedge, where we broke down, is right around the $22 to $23 range for LITECOIN, which is an old support and resistance, as you can see. Well, I'm not over that. There we go. As you can see, that was where we had our bottom at 22, so that would make sense. But the worst case scenario is this whole thing being a flagpole, this being the bear flag, and that gets us down to the $14 area. We also have this trend line up top that will most likely get some support around it, around the $29 to $30 range. Of course, psychological, even numbers, $30 range could get a bounce here. But I do believe we're most likely headed down to these lower areas. Now let's look at the RSI. Just like in Bitcoin, we were watching that same rising channel, which we broke out of, and I said that was going to be bearish, which it is. And let's see how high we could bounce up and look at our point of confirmation. So in the 4 hour, if we were to bounce straight up and retest this support that we broke, would be around the 39.80 to, and this is going to be if it's within the next 4 to 8 hours, around the $39 to $40 range. Actually, it's actually going to be around the $40 range. So if we were able to break the $40 range and close the 4 hour above it, and then obviously we have the 41.39 here, which is heavy resistance. Excuse me. That $40 range, if we can break back above that, then we could be looking at the 47.69 area, which is the 0.382 fib, and it would match up close to the 200 EMA on the 4 hour. But guys, like I said, I doubt we're going to get back above this trend line. I do think we have further down to go. Let's look at Ethereum. Same thing in Ethereum. If you've been watching the RSI here. Also, guys, another way to support the channel, just real quick. The shirts I wear in my videos are my wife's company, inkYourImage.com. There is links to that. There are links to that below. There's also some stuff's not listed in there, like hoodies, long sleeve shirts, keychains, socks, some other stuff, glass pictures, all kinds of stuff. Check it out. It's a good way to support the channel, and it's quality stuff. It's not the junk vinyl, iron-on, none of that stuff. It's actually quality material that doesn't come off. Anyways, that was my shill for my wife's webpage. So anyways, same thing. Rising channel, broke down. As we broke down here, the measured move of that for Ethereum from where we broke down is around the 72.50 range, which also lines up with this white long-term trend line. We do have a yellow one, a trend line down here. And if we look at this as a big flagpole with the breakdown, the measured move being, and again, guys, it doesn't mean we go straight down. People think, oh, it stopped at 95. We never made it. Your target was wrong. This could take a week. This could take longer than a week, but that is my area that I'm looking at. But anyways, looking at that as a flagpole, around the $27 range, which is lining up perfectly with the trend line off of these wicks up here. So this is worst case scenario, in my opinion. 72 is where I think we're most likely headed. Like I said, we can look at Ethereum and see we could go up as high as 120, or no, I'm sorry, 133 to 134. If we're able to break above that and break above this 137, then we are most likely headed up to around the 166 range, which would line up at the 200 EMA. But again, guys, I think this line will become our resistance and we will continue down from here. Just my opinion, doesn't have to be yours. Just showing you what I see in the charts. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to hit the CryptoSavy logo above my head to get you subscribed to the channel. Tick the notification bell to get you notified when I post new videos. Smash the like button. That helps out more than you know. And leave your comments down below. Let me know where you think we're headed. I really like to hear where everybody thinks this may be headed. So thanks a lot for watching, guys, and I'm out.